Jackie Lee Price for Shadowboxer UK. Today's guest is the current national champion at under 81 kilos, Aaron Bowen. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How was Christmas?
Very nice, thank you. Nice and chilled. Well, not chilled because I was still training for upcoming tournaments, but yeah, nice to have a little bit of time off.
I noticed how you thought, I better say I was training.
You got to mention that, yeah.
Yeah, I was training all the way through the Christmas holiday. Listen, you guys needed a little bit of a break though, didn't you?
Yeah, I had, 6 fights in probably 3 weeks, so it was a busy back end to the year after having 2 years out. So I was very tired at the end of the 6, but yeah, it was nice to have a little bit of time off. But boxing, you can't have too long off because you're such a physical sport. You got to sort of keep the engine ticking, as they say. So yeah, nice to have a little bit of time off, eat some nice food and that, but stay on it a little bit.
Back on the grind.
That's it.
So you're back in Sheffield now, but what I wanted to talk to you about before we talk about the whole Sheffield gig, you are now, as I said, the new under 81 kilogram national champion for England boxing. You fought in December. I'm guessing you have had a look at your fight. Thoughts on it?
The final, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough fight. It was. I got a lot of good feedback saying it was like fight of the night and what a good bout it was, but it was a great night for me. I'd lost to that lad twice before, so, and then winning it for the ABAs for the second time, that's another thing. And then I think I sold maybe 140 tickets, 150 tickets. So overall that night was just a big success for me, and I was buzzing. It was a great night.
Brilliant. So you fought Omar Augustin from Earlsfield Boxing Club, and you said that you've lost from him a couple of times before. He is quite a tricky customer, isn't he? He's quite awkward. Talk to me about how difficult it is to read Omar. He's
strong and he's fit, and he looks deceiving because people say he doesn't look the best sort of boxer, but that doesn't matter when he's a big, strong lad, and he doesn't stop throwing punches. So I knew what he was going to bring, but it's one thing knowing what you thinking what I'm going to do, and it's another thing doing it. So it was hard, but again, buzzing to beat him for the third time lucky sort of thing.
Do you know who he reminds me slightly of? A former fighter at Earlsfield, Joe Joyce. Just that relentless, kind of awkward style. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%, yeah. And when you're watching him as a non-boxer, you might think, oh, he doesn't look that great. But like I said, when you're in there, they're strong people, they're strong, they're fit, and they keep punching. So it's probably the hardest fight every time I've had with him. It's probably the hardest opponent I've had. So, and you can see why they win things. Joe Joyce went on to win silver medal, didn't he?
He did. And you're absolutely right. To the non-trained eye, I think you're right. People would say, oh, he doesn't look very much. He's relentless, and he's so awkward that you think oh, maybe them shots aren't going to hurt. And he's strong, yeah. And his shots come from all over the place, don't they?
Yeah. At the end of the fight, I thought I'd won, but because he's so relentless and strong, and you just question it. You think, have I done enough there? But watching it back, I was happy with our boxing, but a hard night for anyone, I'd say. And a lot of people have said that to me, said former people who have boxed him or just watched him said that he's a hard night, and that's why he does win things. So good win for me as well.
Absolutely. He does strike me as someone that he doesn't take the foot off the gas at all. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
So 2019, before the pandemic, let's take it back there, because I know that you've had quite obviously before the championships, you'd had quite a lot of time off, but you did win in 2019 as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I won the ABA's seniors in 2019. That was before COVID, wasn't it? So
yeah,
I had a good year that year, won the 3 Nations as well. So that was a good year, and I was looking to continue that for 2020 and 21, but with COVID, that ruined it all. So I was a bit gutted there, but yeah.
So what happens in between? Obviously, the gyms are locked down, or most of the amateur gyms, not the professional gyms. What did you do? How did you keep yourself motivated and on point? Knowing where you wanted to go.
Yeah, like I said, I was flying in 2019, and then that COVID struck, and then luckily I stayed on it with my training. But I just sort of switched up my training. Like I'd do different runs that I haven't done, different stretch. Like I started like chopping trees and stuff like that, just because I was bored as well, probably like everyone. But I was lucky enough that I was able to train, and I didn't get COVID till sort of this sort of year, so I didn't get ill and didn't affect me in that sort of way. So yeah, just changed up my training and kept the vision sort of live. Like,
so you box for, I mean, I know you box for GB, but your actual boxing club is Box Smart Elite.
Yeah.
Throughout the pandemic, you would have been kept in touch with your coach's Shiny Singh, isn't it?
Yeah, Shiny Singh, yeah.
Talk to me about how he kept you motivated as well.
That Shiny was a good help in lockdown, because joining Shiny, he had a new coaching sort of, what can I say, a coaching method. So it almost like I started fresh. Shiny got me training different, using different drills and using footwork like drills and stuff. So I was going Shiny every day in lockdown once the restrictions had eased up and you're allowed one person. So yeah, Shiny was massive out because he was keeping me motivated. He was keeping me trying things, and where I didn't just go and just, it wasn't like a PT. It was like we were learning all the time. And then when we were able to spar, I'd seen the hard work that we'd put in, come into spars, and then it just rolled on from there. I boxed in the ABAs. I boxed for Shiny, so I had 3 fights, and yeah, happy with that.
That's brilliant. Do you feel like that, just giving your body the rest from, the sparring, and I know you don't always do open sparring, but just giving yourself that little bit of rest, did you feel like you'd stepped up a level almost?
Yeah, I did. I felt refreshed in a mad sense. Like I was training hard, but I was giving my hands and my head a rest, and like I said earlier, trying different things, which then helped my strength for when I was ready to spar again. So I used lockdown as a positive, and although it was a hard time probably for everyone, and it was hard for myself as well, but it was a positive in some ways. So yeah, the rest did me good.
A lot of people are saying that, the thing, when they kind of got over the initial shock, that they did kind of just start working on the little bits and pieces that might seem boring to people, but they're necessary, and actually elevated their game.
Yeah, you almost had too much time on your hands, so it sort of made me realise that like stretching in the morning and then stuff like ice baths at night. I don't normally do that but with lockdown, it sort of made me create sort of daily habits which benefited me now. And then we got a trial in 2020, I think, for Great Britain. Just when lockdown had started to ease up and stuff, and then because I'd stayed on it, I felt good for the trial, and then got on the trial, and then now COVID's lifted, and yeah, boxing away now for GB. So
it's brilliant. Before we get back to the GB part of things, you're saying that you kept on point basically, and you kept the vision. How difficult was that though? Because I imagine that was the difficult part. Yeah,
definitely. Like, the vision was always there, but with the uncertainty of COVID and boxing was getting cancelled, and even just like running, you think, what am I running for? But like I said, I tried to make it enjoyable, and not like, I wasn't trying to do timed runs, so I was just trying to enjoy my training and train 2-3 times a day with like different exercises, and I actually found it really enjoyable, and it gave me a chance to work on things I wasn't good at. So I started doing a lot of like I said, different strength exercises, and I started swimming, started doing ice, like jumping in rivers and stuff like that. So yeah,
we didn't have to take it that far.
Went a bit wild in lockdown, but no, it was all good.
No, it's good to hear. It's actually really good to hear that you found different things to keep yourself motivated, because that's the key, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's, especially boxing, because boxing's different. You train for months and you don't fight for months. Whereas like football, you're playing probably twice a week sort of thing. So it's hard anyway. But then with a 2-year gap, it was real hard. And I can imagine a lot of boxers have either quit or had to go back to work or stuff like that. So it was a tough time for boxers and everyone.
Absolutely. But you've mentioned GB, so you are a member of the Team GB setup. First of all, how did you get on to GB? Because I guess that's a question that everybody wants to know when they start amateur boxing.
Yeah, it's you have to get to the finals of the Nationals. So 2019, I won that and got myself a trial. Had the trial in December. Then obviously COVID struck, so that set me back. But then you go through a phase of like 2 or 3 trials, maybe more, depending. And then got the email to say you've been accepted onto GB based on performances in competitions, and then also sparring, and they assess you. So you go up to Sheffield and you have your trial over 3-4 days, and you spar in all the other sort of finalists or the people on GB. So it is, it's a good setup and a good trial. So I was chuffed to get on.
I mean, firstly, you must be, like you say, chuffed to get to that point. But then you're in the mix in Sheffield. You can keep an eye on who's doing what. I mean, who was your, let's say, the greatest competitor for that spot?
The greatest. I'm trying to think now.
Was it Carol Atuma?
No, he.
Or had he left by then?
I think he was on GB when I boxed him in the semi-finals, and then he'd gone professional after the ABAs, I think. So that sort of cancelled him out. There was already boxers on GB at 81, so my sort of goal was to get on and then try challenge them from there. So I hadn't had no one sort of with me on the trial, but again, I didn't think I've made it, because I knew there was boxers like George Crotty, who I boxed in the final. He's already on the podium, so I knew I had to get on and try then work for his sort of spot.
I mean, it really is quite difficult, isn't it, to get on there? Like you just said, you get to the finals and you think, oh, I'm within touching distance, but it's not as easy as everybody thinks it is it?
No, not at all. I'd won the ABAs and I thought, I'm not sort of definitely on GB, but I thought, here we go. But then I still had to go through 3 or 4 trials to get on, because they want to see more from you. So it isn't as easy as just winning the ABAs and getting on. But I suppose the competition up here and getting on here is what makes the best sort of fighters, I think. Because now I got on, I thought, I'm on GB, but I've got 4 or 5 lads who are all either above me or willing to take my spot. So the competition does bring the best out of people.
And this is what people don't realise, isn't it? That there is literally people, I'm sure you all get on, but let's get real. There are people chomping at the bit to come up and take your spot.
Yeah. Everyone here's within, like, everyone here is ready. So if you're not ready, they'll take your spot, and boxing's about winning medals. So for us, it's about just being ready and staying as best as we can, because the coaches aren't picking the lads on who they like best. It's who's performing best and who's training best. And so we all have to stay on it. And getting on the trial, when you first got on, I thought, I've made not made it, but I was happy. But then I realised soon, like, this is like, you have to stay on it here, which is good though.
Yeah, I think it's mainly I think it's like your first taste of, let's say, the professional side of boxing. So, you can't slack off because, like you say, you could be off the team if you're not ready. It's as simple as that. Exactly.
Like, I was always a hard trainer and always trained to my absolute best. But when you come here, it's a different sort of, like you said, professional. I'm living now the professional life. I'm up here Monday to Thursday, 3 sessions a day. Like, there's no slacking here. But that also means then this gives me every opportunity to succeed, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
It's up to me to fail now, because I've got everything up here. I've got massages, I've got strength and conditioning, I've got running coaches, I've got everything. The best boxers, the best coaches. So I am now living the sort of professional lifestyle without turning professional yet. So yeah, it's a good setup here.
And also having your fights. I mean, one of the things that obviously, you know, people think it's great to turn over, and it is if you are fighting regularly, but some people might only get a fight once or twice a year, whereas, you know, you are going to be active. And talking about active, your first competition, was it in Macedonia for GB?
Yeah, Macedonia, yeah.
What was that like?
That was a good experience, yeah. It was nice to go away as part of GB wearing the tracksuits and like representing your country in a because I'm used to boxing in England. It's sort of social clubs now. It felt really good to go abroad and represent your country, and I obviously got the gold, so that was even better. So,
what's it like to, you know, just walk out to that national anthem?
Yeah, it's good. It's nice. I've been on the podium now a few times with gold, so when you hear the anthem, it is good, and everyone back home supporting on Facebook and all sorts. So it's a real proud moment as well.
So talk to me about how you got into boxing, because I don't really know your journey into the AM game.
My granddad was a boxing coach at the club I started at, and my dad was also a boxer there. So it had always been in the blood, but I started boxing at 14. I played football for a while, but gave up with that, and then just went to the gym one day, and that was it. Then just boxed straight away, won my first novice title in my third fight onwards, and then just kept boxing, kept winning, and then here I am now. Yeah, so not much of a story, but just sort of kept the family tradition going, and went to the gym once, and I've never looked back, sort of thing.
You say it's not much of a story, but do you think it's played a major part in your development? Your dad boxed, your grandfather boxed, and you've got an England coach, Shiny Singh, in your gym now. Do you think that that's kind of played a massive part in your development?
Yeah, definitely, because when I first started boxing, all the coaches said, "Oh, you're a natural. Like, oh, this doesn't look." So my dad and my granddad boxing must have passed down, and always fighting as a kid, like, so it wasn't new to me, but so it's kind of like it was meant to be, without sounding too cringy, but felt meant to be. And the minute I was in the boxing gym, I was straight back to my dad saying, I want to go tomorrow. So it was sort of destiny in a sense. And
nice. So you are back at training later on today. I'm guessing, you know, you're all full in the swing of things, or back in the swing of things, I should say. Yeah. What are the immediate goals in terms of competition for you guys?
Just they'll send you to tournaments, and I just want to win as many things as they send me to. And I always set little goals anyway. I don't like to look too far and say I'm going to be a world champion, because I've got to do small steps first. And so I've got a tournament in next week, actually, in Finland for GB. So box there, try to get 3 wins, get a gold medal. And then there's a tournament in March. There's like European Games, there's Commonwealth Games this year. So these are the sort of goals I want to be setting one at a time. And it could be a big year if, providing I get to go to them and perform at my best. Like,
brilliant. You know what? It sounds like it's going to be an action-packed year for you, and your head's really screwed on. You're the type of kid, to be fair, that I imagine you don't have to kick out the gym. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's a blessing. That's an absolute blessing for any coach. So you know what, Aaron, thank you very much for giving us your time, and I wish you all the best with all the competitions coming up. But let us know how you get on and come back on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.